Hi everyone, this is Mary Flower, and I want to put this in here and make sure it's doing this right. Last video I showed you my whimsical art journal that I want to put my children's and grandchildren's funny little creatures in, and so this journal, you can go to that journal, that last video and watch my little flip through, but it isn't finished, and so I wanted to show you a few things that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do work on this page right here, and I will be doing another video that shows how to make this type of a journal pretty soon after I get a few of these done. Today I have a couple of pictures or funny little creatures. This one is by my grandson, Quinn, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to put it on here. I'm not going to destroy this. In fact, there's a spot in here that is envelopes that I put all of the original pictures in right here, and if I'm going to use some original ones, but a lot of them I'm going to be putting in this spot. But back here, I'm going to work on this page right here now, and show you what I'm going to do. I used this one. I traced this little creature, and I made him a little more stark than his, just so that it will show up in here. But then I will save it and show how I did this. But I like the words here, so and then I'll show you what I do. I'm going to take this piece of the transfer paper and put it right here, and the first thing I'm going to do is write over the top of this so I can get pretty much his writing pretty correct. So I'm going to have to draw over this and see if I can get this on here. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here for a minute and finish it and then show you what it looks like. If I can do that. Now, I didn't want to write all of it, so because I'm going to be keeping the original one in the book, but I want to just put a little bit of the writing so I can put the little creature right here and do a little painting around it. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw over the top of this right here, and I may have to do it with a larger marker. I'm going to see if it works with this one. And this says roar. And this is what the little monster is doing. And I do think that I would like to use a heavier marker on this, because I really want this to stand out here, because I'm going to be doing some painting over it. And his name is Quinn, so I want to put him right here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is actually glue this in here. So I'm going to take a paper here and put a little bit of regular glue on it, because I like it to stay good. But then if I can use the glue stick, because sometimes glue sticks work on a certain kind. I guess you found out that some pages it works better on, and some you just can't use it, and I literally have to use only regular glue on there. So we're going to put him right about the same as where he was before. And so we're going to put him about right here. And if there's some little spots that aren't doing well, I'm just going to glue them down. It looks like the tail is going to need a little more of the Elmer's glue or the tacky glue. So I have him right here. Now what I want to do is paint a little bit around it. I probably wasn't showing that very well, but here we go. Okay, so you can see I drew Roar and Quinn, and I needed to glue it down really well because he's going to share the page with that other big guy here. So I have to make sure he's down all the way. Then I'm going to take a little white. I think that I need to do the other colors first. So I'm going to put orange here to kind of somewhat match this page. Now I use a combination of both the paint, watercolors, you know, other kinds of acrylic paints, and whatever I need to do to let me push him down a little bit more. So some of these pages, I'm going to put the little creatures right onto the page and use, and especially if there's a little bit of, I like the words. And so if there's words, then it's kind of fun to use them incorporated in it. But some that I will be doing will be in pockets, and so I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to do. But this has been a really fun book. I've sort of enjoyed doing this. Well, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to leave this section here. I'm going to only go down to here because I have another little creature I want to put right here. And I want to put this around this part, this color. It's sort of a teal or something here in the background. And I'll let that dry, clear over to here. And I did take a little prerogative on this, that I put little dots in here because I kind of wanted it to match some of this other stuff I'm doing. And so, as you can see, this is my picture. Here's my little guy. And then I'm going to fill in some of these words here. And I probably will go over this again with a marker after it's dry. But I never do it unless it's completely dry, because you can ruin your markers. And little here, and here, in his name. And so I'm going to let that dry and come back to that page. And I think that I'm going to take this little flat brush here and go around the edges. So put the paint here and go around the edges of this. Because I'm going to have to wait for this to dry to continue. Get my paint a little closer here. And as you can see, I like to put in a lot of color that's overlapping. It makes it a lot more interesting. But the creature itself, I thought I want it to look a little more stark, and that's the reason. And I didn't want to cut that apart with the little words on it. Some of them I can, like I'll show you what I'm going to be doing, where I did actually cut it apart, but there were no words, and they were all kind of freestanding, and I'll do that in a minute. And I like to put black and white in places. Wherever I can, using dots and lines and whatever, just to make it a lot more fun. Okay, now I think this is almost dry. No, not quite. And then I'm going to add a little more color in Quinn's name here. And I think I want a little bit of yellow around this. Maybe even a little bit up in here. Now, I usually like to use a dry air dryer thing to, what do you call it? A thing to make it the paint dry. But I don't have a place to plug it in, so I'm just going to let it dry for a few minutes and I'll get back with you. I think I'm going to add, while I'm able to here, letting that side dry, is I'm going to add some dots around this side. And I'm just using the edge of a pencil. I really want to keep this book kind of in the keeping of kind of a very childlike feeling about it. And so that's why I'm have it, well, sort of like real colorful, but yet simple in a way too. So it's like children and how they think. So I'm going to put so I think I'll just go around that section there. So I think this is just about dry. Maybe not quite. Give it another minute. Now, I think it's dry enough that I can go over this one more time and draw over his little words that say roar. But I don't know if it's going on there. You have to be careful with your markers, like I said. If you go over paint with it still wet, you can kind of mess up your marker. And I might be messing this one up. I don't know. I think the roar part is... okay, and then it needs a little more white paint for the last two letters here, which I'm still probably going to have to go over that again. So I'm going to let this dry and maybe come back and then show you, and I'll start another page. So while it was on hold, I got down and made it a little more defined, because I didn't want to get my big fat head in the way. So what I did here was I put the letters a little more like that, so you can see them. And I still want to do Quinn here too as well, but I have a better marker. I may have ruined the last one, but so as you can see, it looks really similar to the little picture I've done. And so while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to show you a quick, well, I don't have to wait for anything. I'm going to show you another page here. Now, on the last video, I showed a little creature that had really cute little trees on it. And this is my daughter, many, many years ago. This has got to be, 20 at least years old. And she even put little glitter on this. And I like this just the way it was. And I could cut it out just like it was. I put it on the black. And I'm going to put that on another page back here. And by itself here. And let me see if I can hold this down. And I don't think I like that page. There's another one. Here it is. I'm going to put these right on the page and let the little creature eat them. And as you can see. So what I'm going to do is just plain glue these down. This may take a little bit of time, so I'm going to use some tacky glue and put these on the page real quick and show you how that looks. So I've glued two of the trees down right here. And I had to use tacky glue on this. Some things you just cannot use a glue stick on, because for one thing, this is a real strange paper, and the only kind of glue that really adheres, in no way would a glue stick hold to this interesting, weird paper right here. So I had to actually use the thick tacky glue, and then it will hold it down. I'm going to put one of the little trees over here as well. Right here. So I'm going to use this really thick glue. And I like to use, on things like this, I just like to use my fingers, because then I can spread it around the way that I want to. And I have better control over it if I just use my fingers. Anyway, it's like being a little kid, right? And you get a little messy, but isn't that what it's all about? And it's kind of fun, really. So then I'm going to put this little tree right here, so I can use all of her little trees, even though there's a pocket right here. And then I'm going to put her little creature about right here. And because he looks like he wants to eat, but maybe I'll have to put it down right here. So I got to put glue on him as well. What is he, pink? It sounds like a little girl, doesn't it? So And I've really enjoyed this. So I will be making more of these kinds of books because I've gotten a good response. And my husband's really, really likes it. And he usually can tell which things turn. He always knows. I have had some things published in magazines, and some things were rejected, and I'll show him and he'll say, nope, that's a winner. And he's almost always right. So he's got a good eye for the things that will probably be published or won't be published. Now, if you go to my, it's an old blog, but if you go to www.thingsaltered, one word. It looks like things saltered, but it's thingsaltered.blogspot.com. And if you look in there, you'll see some of my things that I've made, and it has pictures of things that where I've been in magazines. And you can check that out. But it's been a while since I've been in magazines because I just quit sending in things because it took so long for it to come back. So I think that's really cute the way that turned out. I'll probably put some detail in here. And I have to think about that one. But I really like it over the top of even the pocket here. So, and I'm not really sure. I'm thinking about it still, what I want to do in here, but I'll probably put a plain color, maybe this little bit of this blue back here, so that was another page that I'm finished with my little creatures from my children and grandchildren. I'll do one more here, just a minute. Then I just want to put in one more little mermaid over in this section where I have my tentacles from my octopus, and I think I'm going to put it right there, so I need to push this part down here, and let's see if I could just put something on there, and I'm going to put it right in this area. I think I kind of like this right here, because then it gives it, so I have three little mermaids, one by two different granddaughters and one daughter, and so I thought that would be a good place to put that. So I put glue on the other side, and I think I'm going to put her right about here. She can't get her little tail in the fold, so I have to put it up a little bit. And yeah, it's going over the tentacle a little bit, but that's okay. That way I have two of my granddaughters and my daughter making little mermaids. I actually have two other granddaughters besides these, but they're kind of little, so I'll have to wait and make another book later as they get bigger. And so there is my page for my little mermaids over here on the tentacles, and so the tentacle just kind of wraps around her right there, and this one over here, the tentacle over here, and I may have more room for a couple little, two more little mermaids, maybe when they do get bigger and can make me one, if I can make me little ones, or maybe I'll put some in there, maybe fish or something. But you know, is it ever finished? It's finished when you want it to be, right? And so there's that page, and then this page here with that little guy, and I hope you enjoyed that. This little guy can go right over the top of him right here. So, because I like him to stick out right there. So, I think I have another little guy right here that I can finish this page, but we'll come back and do that. That's the fun about having all these funny little creatures. And I will finish this one. But I didn't put out some blue paint, so I'll wait on that one, and we'll work on these. It's just sort of a work in progress. Sorry, I don't talk well sometimes. And I don't know, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you want to see the flip through a little better, go to my previous post and give me a thumbs up. I love comments, and you guys have a nice day.